WTMP HD, Egypt Lake, Tampa, and now on 102.1 in Pinellas County.
Go ahead and hit it. All right, hit that. I can hit it. Just cut it off. Go. All righty. All righty.
We got this.
All righty.
We're professionals.
Okay.
Tim.
The short version of
TampaBay.
the intro music today.
This is okay. I'm gonna put my warnings out there. I kind of warned Sean Shaw and Yvette on the way out the door.
Mm-hmm.
If you weak-hearted,
Uh-oh.
this may not be a good show for you to listen to this week, because we got some stuff going on, and I'm gonna say it.
Okay.
I'm gonna put it out there.
Look out.
And for you Democrats who are butthurt over the sacred cow getting gored last week, the goring continues. Or should I say the sequel, or should I say part 2, goring infinitum for the next hour anyway.
That's a fancy word.
Yeah, so just get ready. So this is Porch Talk Radio.
Mm-hmm.
We exist to remind you of the flaws of being in that 90%, 80% that continues to vote for Democrats every election cycle. We just gonna remind you. I know you've been brainwashed and truly believe all the good, sweet, nice, soulful sounds of people who keep selling you that pablum every year.
Eddie, you're not helping their self-esteem.
I haven't even started the show yet. For the next hour, we're going to remind you of how much the Democratic Party have not done for you in the last 100 years. I can even say the last 200 years.
Mm-hmm.
I want you to think hard about it. Over the last 200 years, if you want to counter anything that I'm going to be saying in today's show, think about all the great things the Democratic Party has brought you.
Mm.
They have brought you slavery. They have brought you the Ku Klux Klan. The House, the Senate, and the President are all Democratic, but yet you don't have the permanent right to vote in this country. I mean, that's all brought to you by the Democratic Party.
And this is twice.
And at some point in time, they find a way to make everything, our fault. Now, I'm going to tell you right now, Roe v. Wade is the Republican Party fault, because I'm going to tell you, I have not found in my heart the way to justify killing unborn babies, period. Black, white, Hispanic, I don't care what color they are. And if you go to Eddie Adams Jr. on Facebook today, you'll see I got a picture posted of a 20-week-old baby. That ain't no fetus. It may be still in the mama. But if you look at that picture and tell me that's not a human being, you can call. You can call and let's explain it to me, because that's something maybe I don't know. Because I've seen a lot of pictures of a lot of babies outside the womb. That baby inside the womb looks just like the rest of them that's outside the womb. It's just not outside the womb yet.
So Eddie, if it walks like a duck, talks like a duck, must be a duck?
Well, I'm saying how people have been able to rationalize
Killing babies?
in their mind that picture that's on my Facebook page is not a baby, and somehow we lost the sense of our humanity, because they're trying to say, well, let me tell you something that I do know. At least half of them women that were protesting Roe v. Wade was for no abortion, period. So there was as many women for it as it is against it.
But they didn't talk to the others.
Yeah, it ain't like all those women that they kept showing you was all, butthurt about Roe v. Wade. And for 50 years, if it take 50 years to right an injustice, then I take 50 years, because guess what? I'm living to see it. I ain't even started the show. Let me start this show.
Get it going.
Okay. This is Porch Talk Radio. on this July 2nd day, 2022. And this is the first show after we kicked off on June 30th the Hillsborough County Black Republican Club.
Eddie, that was impressive. A lot of great people showed up. A lot of great people.
And a lot of people will come. And we had a great thing. So the telephone number, if you want to call in today to complain, compliment, whatever you want to do, the show call-in number is 888-247-8712. 888-247-8712. Hillsborough County. We've been talking about the need for there to be a local Hillsborough County Black Republican Club. And a lot of you guys, girls, who said you was coming didn't come. I'm putting it out there. See, I report stuff as I see them. I ain't trying to hide nothing. I ain't trying to sugarcoat nothing. But there was a lot of people there. And a lot of people there felt the spirit in the room. And I'm going to tell you, I've been in a lot of rooms. And I've been in a lot of churches. And I've been in a lot of political gatherings. But it was electricity. There is static in that room on Thursday night. I'm going to tell you. That's a feeling of great things to come. And what I'm going to do today, and I know there's a lot of folks who are really confused. And I'm not going to hold that against you.
What?
Because they got a lot of years of experience. I mean, the show you just heard, they're talking about after the election, you don't see the people who just got elected and they saying vote, vote, vote. See what I say, I said, if you're stupid as hell, don't vote. That's what I say. Now, I've always said that. I don't want stupid people voting. See, because there's a lot of folks who tell you pretty words. They make it sound so good. And we as a people, we're good at that.
Eddie, those called low information voters, PC term.
They can be smart. I don't care. They stupid. They stupid. See, you thinking that there's a big difference. See, when I was a kid, they say they got people who got book learning, but they're dumb on the street. They dumb in reality. They don't know how to deal with people.
Common sense.
But they maybe have a PhD. But that PhD is in one subject. And that one subject or two subjects, or how many subjects they got, when they dealing with people on the street, they baffle. Because a lot of them don't deal with people on the street at all very well. And that's how they, you might well have put a big old sign on the back with a bunch of circles, bullseye. Because that's why you become a target. You ooze into the environment, I am a target, come take advantage of me. And a lot of those people actually are black. Yeah, some of y'all think y'all smart. But the problem is, you have been a figure
Token.
In the largest illusion the planet has ever seen. Because somehow you think that Roe v. Wade was something against you, against black folks killing black babies. I'm just saying. I'm saying it's out there. See, a lot of y'all don't want to say it. See, I'm the one with a platform here, and I get to say it. I think it's the best thing that could have happened to black folks because they were killing more black babies than anybody else.
And we need the black babies to live so the population can grow, Eddie. That's been staying small for a long time. And the people everybody keeps voting for is blacks keep voting for Democrats, keep killing off their people. And to prove it today, it's still alive and well. Go to Chicago, go to Baltimore, go to Detroit. Who's being killed? Philadelphia. Blacks. Big numbers.
But see, the thing that I'm talking about here, I'm talking about when You kill them before they even get here. They don't even get to breathe a breath of fresh air, and they're killed in the womb. And how they are actually killed. I know it don't mean nothing to you because you've been taught for so long that it's just a tissue mass. I want you to go to my Facebook page and look at that picture of a 20-week-old infant inside the womb. That's what I'm calling it. I'm calling it a baby inside the womb. Because it's not just a viable tissue mass.
Mm-hmm.
It's not just a clump of cells. And see, the fact that they have spent the last 50 years telling you that thing ain't human, so I can kill it if I want to. I can kill it if I want to. I am so damn glad my mother did not think that I was insignificant enough. Because actually, my mom and my dad wanted me because I'm the first child they had, and they was looking to have children. But that's not always the case, and it is not the unborn infant's fault that it is an unborn infant. And somehow we have been convinced that it's okay. And I know it's not in the Bible to kill anybody. So what they did, they convinced you that it's not somebody. It's a nobody. It's an unviable tissue mass. And I'm going to tell you right now, all y'all that butt hurt because you don't get to kill babies, tough shit. And I mean that.
And Eddie, after it's all said and done, you got the degree on this. If that baby is kept inside the body of the woman, and that baby is dismembered, the head is crushed with some forceps or something like
they
that.
They got a lot of different ways.
But I'm just saying. But if people don't hear the screaming of the baby, that's a little human being. If they don't hear the screaming of it, it's not a human being.
It ain't got nothing to do with the screaming. Because, like I say, hell, they can kill 40-year-old, 50-year-old people in the hospital, and you ain't gonna hear them screaming. They do it in the prison. They actually have people sit there to witness it, so to make sure it happen. But it ain't about the screaming. You know, the fact of the matter, you killing something and you killing somebody, and we do it gracefully. That's why it's called infanticide. Any kind of way. You could chemically kill a baby and not kill the mom. You could do it with instruments and not kill the mom. You can do it. They probably got 100 different ways to kill a baby, and nobody knows it but the people who's doing it. That's not the point. And let me tell you something else. I'm gonna talk about all three of these subjects interchangeably. The meeting we had the other night, and I've been talking about it. Not one, and I'm saying something. Not one black Republican candidate showed up. It's okay. That was our first meeting. It was a lot of people there. Matter of fact, it was a lot of very important
Yes, there were.
people there.
Yes, there were.
Hell, I was there.
Well, there you go. We had Tim.
All three of us was there.
We were the most important.
But let me tell you something else. We
Literally.
we had it was a charter meeting for the club, our very first meeting. And we have about 40 or 50 people showed up. And we got a lot done because half of it was to see who would show up, or how many people would show up. It was a victory. I count that meeting as a victory for all of Hillsborough County. And I noticed a couple of people who sent me messages they couldn't get in, a couple of people who called and they can't get in. But that was our first meeting. And that was important, and it had value. But what it did, it gave me another platform to fight evil and injustice. Because there's a lot of these people preaching Democrat this, Democrat that, and I see it. Okay, let me tell you something you people may not know and you may not understand. And I remember some of this stuff from back in 1960, 1961. Back then, that's when I was in first grade. And there was a lot of stuff going on back then. And that was about when they started this movement to take God out of schools. Yeah, I remember it. Because back then we said the pledge and we said the prayer and we learned how to. Now, I'm going to say something that's blaspheme now. As a child in first grade, my first grade teacher taught me how to pray.
Oh, my. That would be a loud day, Eddie.
She taught all us how to pray.
They'd be in jail right now if that happened.
When I was in kindergarten, my kindergarten was in a sanctified church.
Oh my goodness.
I actually went to kindergarten. It wasn't in the school. Kindergarten was separate. And we went to a sanctified church. My kindergarten teacher, Miss Roby, and her husband was the pastors of that sanctified church that I went to kindergarten in.
Wow, that would not be allowed today, Eddie.
What I'm telling you is there's a set of people, and when I'm talking about issues here, I'm not talking about as many glorified, pretty issues. I say go look at this, go look at that, and something. And when I started the show off today, I started talking about 100 years, 200 years. Go back and look. Don't just let these people cloud your mind with all this stuff.
Nonsense.
Go look. Look at what the Democratic. Why? See, you think the Civil Rights Act and the Civil Rights Bill is all part of the Democratic Party?
Eddie, you just hit it right there.
In 1956, I actually had a class when I was running for U.S. Congress, and it was saying that the class for the U.S. Congress, and they said in 1954, the Republican Party put to a vote this first civil rights bill, and they had 18 Southern Democratic senators who said they would never vote for black folks to have civil rights.
Eddie, and to piggyback on that same thing, back in 1964, the longest filibuster in the United States history, the longest filibuster in our history was 60 days. Just over 6 days, but 60 days, and that's when Democrats tried to block the Civil Rights Act in 1960. The longest filibuster in history, right there.
Okay.
Boom.
People, don't let me confuse you with some facts.
No,
Don't let me confuse you
We're in trouble.
because you've been told your whole life
Lie.
the Democrats were this and the Democrats were that, and I'm gonna tell you. Let me tell you something. I'm gonna come at this a different way, and it's not gonna be the same way you think I'm gonna tell you. I saw a black female Supreme Court justice last week get sworn in to the Supreme Court. First one ever.
Oh, the first black person in history.
First black female.
No, history is what the CNN saying.
I'm telling this story.
Mm-hmm.
So you tell, next time you get the mic, you tell your story. Okay, now, something I noticed, a lot of you guys may not have noticed, but I have seen it before. Didn't pay much attention to it, because again, it's kind of going back to control and seeing the whole picture for what it is. When the only black male justice, when Thurgood Marshall was sworn in, he was the first black Supreme Court justice. Then he was he resigned, and then he was replaced. But I'm gonna tell you something. that you may not have known, and it wasn't a big deal back then. But the Supreme Court justice that was sworn in was black, but his wife was white. Now I'm saying that because I'm going somewhere with this.
Goodness. I see the racism.
And then we got a black president, and his mother was white. I'm just
Being a
saying,
racist, Eddie. You're being a racist.
I'm telling the story, and at some point you may see, and that was Clarence Thomas. And then we got a black female vice president.
I know where this is going. I see a pattern.
And I saw her sworn in, and her husband, who was white, had a Bible.
Oh my goodness.
And last week, when I saw it, I knew what it was, and then I started putting it all together. Justice Brown, husband, is white. Now I am not a racist, but I'm gonna tell you.
There's a pattern here? I don't know.
There's definitely a pattern.
I don't know, Eddie.
It's not about control, because for some reason or another, we can't get black husband and wife together, get elected to some of these highest points in our
Then the white people can't control them, Eddie.
our country.
Democrats got to control them somehow.
Pillow talk, is what I'm saying. I'm saying there's a whole lot more that goes on
Goodness,
with
Eddie.
these appointments.
Brought that out.
Well, see, because I'm the only one gonna say it. There's a whole bunch of people saw it, but when I saw that last week, Justice Brown, and I saw this tall white guy holding the Bible, and having those looks when you look at somebody that you love, and so I didn't have to figure out who he was. I said, oh, that must be her husband, because that's normally the way we do it. So we got 4 people. We got vice president. We had a president. We got another Supreme Court justice. And there's similarities. And I'm saying, I'm waiting to see, and this is just me, and I got a lot of white friends, I got a lot of white supporters, I got a lot of people who know and understand.
God bless them all.
And I say it because I see it. But there's a pattern. All of the top black folks in Washington, D.C. are connected or have been connected since Thurgood Marshall. I mean, the folks who was yelling and cheering for Kamala Harris, they wasn't doing it because of her race. Some people were.
Yeah.
Some people wasn't. But there's always issues. That's why I tell you, don't just take the rhetoric. Look at what's happening. There's a connection. All that power is connected. Now, would Kamala have been as good a candidate, and would she have got that had her husband been black?
I doubt it.
Or blacker?
I doubt it.
I mean, she's kind of, like the brother said, she's kind of high yellow red bone.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, that's what brothers say.
That Indian Jamaican mix.
But had her husband been jet black, would she have still got there?
I don't see it, Eddie. There's no history for that.
And I know Justice Brown, she's dark skinned, but her husband's white. That's what happens behind the scene that you don't see, and there's no story in any of these issues, pictures about what's going on behind the scenes.
Eddie, and some of the loudest politicians that you're bringing up to everybody right now. Omar, who's part of the squad for the Democrats, after she divorced her brother, she went ahead and married, she's got a white guy now. She's a black lady. And then the lady from Chicago, Lightfoot, I believe she's got a white lady. There seems to be a pattern, Eddie. Ooh.
Well, see, what I am saying to black people.
Mm-hmm. Go find a white person.
No. I'm saying look at the whole picture. Don't look at the snapshot they're showing you. There's a lot of stuff going on, and there's no reason that we can't have a good old-fashioned black man married to a good old-fashioned black woman in some position of power in this country. See, people who know me. I say what I think, and I'm one of the few that got a platform to be able to do that. And then again, I want everybody to know that you're thinking, and I talked about this Thursday. Every one of these shows on TMP, I personally pay for. And I've been doing this for 13 years. You figure it out. So if there's candidates and folks out there who want to come on the show and talk, if you good and somebody I like, you can come on and you can do a whole hour, a whole show with me. If I love you, you do it for free. You know, because you know, like
business.
I said, I ain't trying to hide nothing.
It's business.
Every show you hear, somebody paid for it. Most of the time, it's me. Every now and then, we get a candidate that comes on and say, "Eddie, I pay for the show because the show is for the benefit of this community." And if I think you are a benefit for the community, and your funds are low, yeah, you come on, me and you, and we'll do it, and we'll do what I've been doing for the last 13 years. If you want to help, and if somebody I don't know, there was a couple people asked me for a rate sheet. That's my rate sheet.
There you go. Boom.
And if you want to come and be a part of all this madness, people spouting out the truth, people telling folks to go look at them. Don't take my word for it. Go see for yourself. Yeah. And you want to be a part of that, then this is a good show to be on. And if somebody wanna hurt my advertising here at Porch Talk Radio, give me a call and tell me that you got something for me better to do than to spend it talking and telling people and making a difference in this community. Because the reason a lot of people came to that meeting on Thursday, because they heard this show at some point in the last 13 years. I'm gonna tell you another reason they come. I got black folks who told me they was coming, but they didn't come. It's okay.
In spirit.
It's okay, because that's not what it's for. That's not what the club is for.
Not a show.
The club is to make a difference.
Oh.
And we will, because there's a lot of people who agree with me. See, they can't tell their friends they like me. They can't even tell their friends they like this show.
You know, Eddie, and I think that's something you brought out initially in the conversation here about there was electricity in the room. There was some commonality and principles about this is a good country. We can make it better, and we have the power to make a change when we do come together. And we don't have to go with whatever's said on TV. We just know to do what's right. And I think that was part of electricity, Eddie. Everybody was happy. They felt good. There was hope. And the possibilities are endless when you bring those type of people together. Say, we can make change. We can make things happen, as opposed to this baloney. And that was awesome, Eddie.
And I'm going to give a shout out to the executive director of the Hillsborough County Republican Club. Hillsborough County Republican Committee.
The RAC.
Executive Committee. Because our very first speaker was Jim Warshak, the executive director of the Hillsborough County Republican Party. You know, because there's always the black folks that come, what have they done for you? What are they doing for you? See, the difference between me and the people asking those questions, I have not ever depended upon someone else to do something for me. See, that's part of what you have been taught. You have been taught over the last 200 years, you got to depend upon somebody else to do the things you want to get done. See, I don't do that. I'm not looking for anybody else to get things done for me. I'm not looking for the Hillsborough County Republican Executive Committee to give me money. See, because I learned a long time ago, if somebody is supporting you, they control you.
Mm-hmm.
So if we find a way to support ourselves, then we can do what we want and look back and have no regrets. See, that's the way I like to live my life. I'm going to tell you something that you don't know about me. Some of you may know, some of you don't. About 20-some years ago, I started looking at all the different meetings and all the different groups that I was involved in. And most of them, I was the only black in the room. Period. Every now and then, there may have been one or two others.
Strays.
And they was usually older than I was. But they were still black, and they had a black heart. The one thing I wanted to do something about was getting some young black men involved with some of the things that I was doing. Not telling them how to do it, but literally showing them, come with me. You know, watch how we do this, watch how we do that. There's a process to it. And so what I did was, every year, and some of you who know me, y'all have seen some of my like intern. They wasn't really interns, because they had to be between 25 and 45. Once or twice, I took in a couple of young ladies. See, you all did men. I only did black males. But twice. Well, once I took in a black young lady, I actually took in an Asian, a Chinese young lady.
Very nice lady.
You know, but the main thing was to get them into the system. Not say, go do this and go do that, but come with me and let me show you how we do this and how this is done. And then when the time comes, you'll feel more comfortable achieving some of these things.
You know, that is so lacking today in Tampa and all the towns around this country right now. There was a video posted just a couple of days ago there in New York City where the subway. Some woman was getting beat up, and these men just stood around looking, just recording and looking, and nobody helped, Eddie. They need, that's terrible. That's terrible, Eddie. But for right now, for us to have some mentors, men stepping up to the plate and helping and guiding, this is how you do it. This is what you're going to do, and this is why you're going to do it. And just show them, just go. And for them to see it in action, they're supposed to go read it in a book and maybe figure it out, but just see somebody actually do it. And that's what mentoring is all about, Eddie. And I've seen you got some great people with you, young people that are just right there, listen to you, to everything you're saying. And I pray that they got involved, so Eddie.
And it's not about money. Even though I have had a couple of people who took my advice, did some things with their time and their energy and their treasure, and they have been rewarded. One of them is a multimillionaire. A couple of them have made financial gains, and I can't take credit for it, because they had talents, they had skills. All they had to do would be pointed in the right direction.
There you go, some guidance.
Have a couple of doors open for them, and it took off.
Boom.
And a lot of people who are listening to this show right now, some people who have been members of some of the other groups that I have been members of, I have brought some of these people into the club meetings with me. And the ladies couldn't come to like Fred meeting. I'm an Alpha Phi Alpha, the intellectual light of the world. I'm very proud of it. And we started that whole Black Greek fraternity thing. Yeah, we were the first, which I have done a lot of first things in my life, creating opportunity. The whole Juneteenth thing here in Tampa, 15 years ago, when nobody else was thinking about it. Even Juneteenth's been around for 100 years or so, but not being celebrated here. It's celebrated in St. Pete. but not celebrated here in Tampa. But like I say, it's a whole set of things and circumstances connected to younger people, and still those folks have went on, and I try to get 4 year, and I don't make a big public thing out of it. You know, someone would tell somebody, Eddie, you need to meet this person. This person needs to meet you. Can you help them? And there's a couple of groups of people who came in as a team. All 4 of them came in as a team. And many of them have done great things. Fame and popularity is not part of this whole thing, because I'm plugging them into institutions and bodies that need a young black opinion every now and then. They need the input. And the people learn by seeing, doing.
Absolutely.
And they need to step up, a foot up.
Not a handout.
Not a handout.
Ooh.
Not a handout.
Because
if you guys remember, several years ago, I was talking about I was going back to welding school.
Oh yeah.
Everybody, I'm sitting up there. You know, I was 60 plus years old, sitting in a class with a bunch of 18-year-olds and 19-year-olds. I think that the next youngest, I was 60 something. The next oldest person was like 24 at Irvine. It didn't stop me, because what I wanted to know was learn how to weld. Okay, the other folks in there was young kids. I didn't give a crap. That didn't stop me from learning. Matter of fact, a couple of them I would never forget, because they went out their way to help me. Mm-hmm. One of them was a white female, and a couple young brothers that was there who was real good. Matter of fact, the teacher who started listening to this show said he loved the show, and he said that those guys had a natural talent. Now if you know anything about skill sets and tech and all that kind of stuff, he said this one guy was a natural welder. But if you don't never try it, you don't find out. You may be now let me tell you this: welders, some make $80,000-$90,000 a year.
Not poor.
And some of them do that part time, because there's nowhere on this planet. Now, I used to say nurses and doctors were needed everywhere, but I hadn't got into welding. Every port in the world has welders on staff. They have traveling welders who go from port to port. The Alaska pipeline, that whole thing was welded. It's a whole lot of other stuff that goes on. And if you are fortunate enough to be a dive master,
oh my goodness.
I actually took up diving when I was younger. But if you become a dive master and you want to do underwater welding, hell, you can make $300,000 a year underwater welding.
Just playing in the water.
So I'm just saying, it's a lot of stuff out there that you don't know. You didn't think about it. Your son didn't think about it. Now, let me tell you one, probably the best thing that came from me taking welding class. My son is now a welder.
Oh, my.
I say, well, why don't you take a couple of classes, look at it, and he did the same thing. He took a couple of classes, liked it, then he started buying his own equipment. Now he's trying to get his own shop.
I bet you're gonna make it, Eddie.
He's gonna make it.
Yeah.
He's gonna make it one way or the other. So this whole thing wasn't as bad as some of you guys thought, because you thought the whole thing was gonna be political. I am not just a political creature. That's one of the things I took up. And some of you have seen me at City Hall, Tampa City Hall, fussing and fighting with them about Silver Oaks, just like all the other good folks who go down there and think we need to make this community better, and find some issues that need to be fought. And need to be fought not just by the good guys, but need to be fought by everybody. And sometimes you gotta cut the light on and watch the rats and roaches scurry around.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it happens. You know, that's a real thing. And I heard Sean Shaw, who was on before me, said that every candidate, city and county, needs to get involved with what's happening to those people at Silver Oaks.
Yeah.
You got to. They got to. It is too easy to sweep issues like that under the table. And it's not important that you people like me. I've said that many times. Because that's not part of my process. Because I know no matter what I do, I can walk down 22nd Street and give everybody I see $100 bill. And I know and understand that half of them going to call me the N-word. And they look just like me.
Ooh. Yeah.
Who he think he is giving me $100 bill? You see what I'm saying? But that's the nature of the world. And I understand that. No matter what's in my heart, and no matter what's in their heart, if I had it, I would do it. But I don't have it, so I ain't got to worry about it.
There you go. Keep it simple, Eddie.
You know, but I'm just telling you, you know, no matter what you do, everybody's not going to like you.
Mm-hmm. If you stand for something, Eddie, with principles,
you got to be in it to make things happen. So I am in it. And I hate to say it like this, but I know, you know, people think Trump was the ultimate bad guy because Trump had a plan.
Mm-hmm.
And he was packing the court. Well, shit, he packed the court. Yeah, he did. He did it. That was part of his process. And what was his ultimate goal? To overturn Roe v. Wade.
And he said it.
And he's not there, and it still happened.
And he said it. It's not a secret.
All right, we got a caller. Caller, welcome to Porch Talk Radio. Thank you for listening to me, you know, this long. Who are you? Where you calling from? And what say you? Hello?
Calling from Sam's, man. I hear you getting our $100 bills, man. Well,
hey.
You got a welding license. Where you get $100 bills like that, man? Where you pick them up at, Eddie?
Joe.
I hear that right now. I'm out here Sam listening to you talking.
Joe.
You get $100 bills.
Busted.
Got welders. Got the black Republican truck rolling again.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't make it. I was going to make it, but I got tied up with something else. But man, Eddie, you get $100 bill on the street too. They said you just gonna walk down and give them out.
Everybody I
Did
see.
I hear that right?
Now, the thing about it, Joe, you know something? If I start doing that, it may be one person on 22nd Street, but by the time I walk half a block, everybody within the vicinity will be out there with a handout for $100 bill because we've been trained to do that, and that's how we get manipulated.
Exactly. I try to call it that. That was a good analogy. I just want to call it. Thank you, man, for what you're doing. Keep the fight up, because you know how I roll. They just called me now. I want to come back over to the Republican side. I can't believe it. I had 2 calls this morning. I said, I'm thinking about it. Just give me some time here. I got to wait after this midterm, and I'll make my mind up. Y'all just hold your horses. Just relax. So anyway, man, keep up the good show. Let me get back to get what I need for the folks out here in town. And keep up the good show, man. And keep it real.
Joe.
All right, bro.
Thank you.
God bless you.
Thank you, Joe. Thank you for calling.
Yes,
See, the difference between me and a lot of folks, I know it's an awful lot of Democratic people on the hangman's gallows. They already up there. The rope already around their neck. Come November 2022, the floor gonna drop.
Mm-hmm.
Because they're gonna lose more seats.
Yeah, huge.
Locally, nationally. Because I told you before, when a mother can't feed her baby, gas is costing $100, $200 to fill up your vehicle. And that's not the truckers. The truckers is costing $1,000, $2,000 to fill up those vehicles.
It's only SUVs that
and just think about it. Everybody keep talking about January 6th. On January 6th, the national gas average was $1.05 $1.93 a gallon.
That's why the Democrats want to forget it.
National.
Yeah. Man.
Now, I'm going to tell you what happened. A couple of weeks ago, it went over $5.
Mm-hmm.
And then the governor, then the president, then all these different states, you know, this has been going down. You know, the price of gas has been going down.
Mm-hmm.
But it's so high. So if gas is $5 and you make it $4.85, it still hurt. It still hurt. There's a bunch of people cheering because it went down. If it went down 2 cents, some people would have been cheering.
They can buy an extra hot dog.
But that ain't $1.93. And I'm going to tell you something. America, I've seen it before. You blame somebody for that. Even though they keep telling you, well, it ain't his fault. It ain't his fault.
It is.
Bull crap. Bull crap. You know what I would like to say.
Mm.
But, see, that's the reality of it all. You can believe all that stuff they got. I'm going to tell you what make gas $5 a gallon. Bad policy.
A lot of it.
You got some environmentalist extremes telling the president what to do. And the first thing they did was shut down the Keystone Pipeline, shut down as many American domestic, refineries as possible.
Leases.
Because somebody's saying it's bad for the environment. Now, what do you think is worse for the environment? Buying gas halfway across the world,
destroying them,
having a huge multi-million ton tanker that burns 1,000 gallons an hour. Now, how many roads in America could be filled with cars and not have all those cars together burn 1,000 gallons an hour? You see what I'm saying? You took it from one place, you shined the light and say it's so bad and fossil fuels is this and fossil fuels are that, and you spread it, and so now you got
a bigger mess possible out there. Them ships are busting in the middle of the ocean. Woof.
You got all kinds of stuff happening.
Yeah.
But I want you to see it for yourself. I'm just saying, look at how we get our gas. Look at where it comes from. And then we're enriching people who hate us.
Dictators. That kill gay people.
And to believe baby formula, Similac, had come from Australia all the way around the world to get here to feed our babies.
Because the Biden administration shut down FDA, or plants.
Bad policies.
Mm-hmm.
See, that's what I'm talking about. They've had enough bad policies, and I post them on my Facebook page all the time. Over the last 2 years, to take us from being the world leader in almost everything to being at the bottom of the list in almost everything. That's bad policy.
Very bad.
And black folks, y'all been conscious and aware of what they do. If they say, don't look at what we do, listen to what we tell you. Be obedient. And you guys have learned to be obedient, black folks. Yeah, y'all obedient. Y'all obedient. But at some point in time, massa is going to tell you to go to hell.
Eddie, right there you're talking about all this oil stuff. The president of El Salvador said the most powerful country in the world is falling so fast that it makes you think that the real reason something so big and so powerful can't be destroyed so quickly unless the enemy comes from within.
Well, yes, that's how Rome was destroyed. Rome was
Boom.
the most powerful nation the world had ever seen. They had never seen a power like Rome.
Boom.
Nobody from the outside could tear them down. Rome was destroyed from within.
Same thing happening now, Eddie.
I hate to call it bad policy.
It's something else, but yeah.
It was bad policy then.
Yeah.
Bad
Identical.
policy now.
Identical.
And you keep following this because the folks who control Biden, a lot of this stuff ain't him. But the folks who control Biden, like the oligarchs in Russia, they get theirs.
Oh, yeah.
It ain't hurting them. Their babies got formula.
Mm-hmm. Big time.
They don't even drive themselves. They got chauffeurs.
Nah, they don't care.
They got houses in Russia, and many of them got houses in England, and the rest got houses in France. They're living that life that allows them to think of the Ukraine as a viable tissue mass. A whole country. I saw an image on TV the other day where a missile came out the sky, hit a building, killed 21 people. And then the Russians said, we missed our target. No consequences. No, we're sorry. The missile just went off course a little bit, killed a couple people. No big deal. We're killing people in schools with missiles. We're killing people in the Ukraine in hospitals with missiles. We got soldiers at the border using missiles to stop civilians trying to flee the country. We have always been, United States of America, big boy with big boy britches on, big boy pants on.
Now they become yoga shorts.
We would not have stood for this. And I'm not talking about Democrats, I'm not talking about
but the people in charge.
I'm talking about the country as a whole. We have sent. We can't send them in. When somebody know what you don't want to do, but they know what your weakness is, guess how they exploit you. Well, we don't want to send our troops nowhere. Guess what? Our troops are dying in the damn war. They're dying because they know we don't have our big boy pants on.
But we got our pronouns down.
And we got a caller. Caller, welcome to Porch Talk Radio. Who are you? Where you calling from? And what say you? Hello?
My name is Jarvis. Hey, hello. And my name is Jarvis, and I'm calling from Welders.
Okay.
Man, I sure appreciate you guys, man. At the beginning, about 2 years ago, I didn't understand you guys. But after listening, you got to listen, man. I really enjoy listening to you guys. But I called to say this. If you ever had a kid or a son, especially if you're a person of color, and you send them off to college, and you send them off to somewhere, you send them off, you pray. And you just pray that God watches over them, because you know there's some things out there. So you just pray. I say that because every time I see Joe Biden, that's the feeling that I get, man. I don't know what to say, man. I hope I don't come to that point when I come to that age. But every time I see him, I just pray, and he's the leader of I guess we're the free world. Depending on what color you are in this country, you can walk around free. So they call us the free country, but just depending on it, and I mean that from the bottom of my heart, man. It depends on what color you are. It depends on your freedom in this country, just walking. But when I see Joe Biden, I just wanted to say that, and I don't know what we're coming to in this country, but to see Joe Biden and the things that he do and the circles and the way he talks and the way he loses focus, and it's just it amazes me that nobody's saying anything, and it's like he can't even read the cue card anymore. And I'm just wondering what's going on with our country. But anyway, man, I'm enjoying you guys, and I listen to you guys every week, and I just enjoy that. And I wanted to say that about Biden. Thanks.
Thank you, sir. God bless.
Thank you. We appreciate you. We got another caller? No caller. Okay. So let me tell you something that's funny. Joe Biden is not the oldest president we've ever had. And if you want to compare, look at Trump
74.
and look at Joe Biden. Both old white men. All the presidents we've had, except for a couple, were old white men. They got that in common. But all old white men are not the same.
Mm-hmm.
Because Reagan was old. Reagan was old when he got elected. And he may have spent 6, 8 hours during the day sleeping. We don't know. But the country functioned like he was always in charge.
Mm-hmm.
The country functions now like Joe Biden is never in charge.
Yeah.
And it's a difference. It's a different energy. I like, and I say this all the time, I don't look up at anybody. I don't look down at anybody. It is hard for me, I'm not talking about anybody else, to look up to Joe Biden as a leader. He may be a good old man. He may have a good heart.
I doubt it.
But I can't see it.
Mm-mm.
I see Joe Biden as a standard or a symbol of the type of evil I've been fighting my whole life.
Woo.
And I continue to do it. And a lot of you have heard me speak. And you hear me speak every Saturday. But a lot of you have seen me at county commission meeting fighting for issues. Some of you have seen me at city council meeting fighting for issues. Some of you have seen me in your communities fighting for issues. Now, I'm not a candidate. I'm not running for anything. I want to make that clear. I'm not building you up. I have been doing radio like this for 13 years. And because of that, I have developed a following. And that following has power. And power is one of those things that you got to learn to deal with it. It can be used for good and it can be used for bad. And black folks, every powerful politician in your area, locally, statewide, nationally, they know how to play you. They know how to play the game. They show up 6 months to a year before the elections. They go to your meetings. They go to your churches. They shake hands with you, kiss your babies. And as soon as the election's over with, you don't see them again to the next election cycle.
They don't need you to then.
Now, back in the day, they used to call that pimping.
Mm-hmm.
You, as a community, being pimped. And you know what happened with pimps? Pimps come in, take advantage, get paid, show up again next time, next crisis, next event.
Mm-hmm.
Who gains from being pimped?
Not the pimpy.
Nobody but the pimp. Yeah, I'm calling all politicians out there who play that game pimps. Because you're playing the game the way black folks let you play it. You may not want to be pimped, but the person who stops pimping is not the pimp. It's the folks that's being pimped. The ladies, I ain't gonna do it no more. Have you ever heard the term pimp slapped?
Uh-oh.
Y'all scared to get pimp slapped. You're being pimped. And maybe you have been pimp slapped. But at the end of the day, that whole process is about power. If you look at any of those black exploitation movies of the 50s and the 60s and the 70s. You can see it. See what you choose not to, because they're not talking about politics. They talking about this woman and this guy on the street and this guy with this jazzed up car and with the fur coats, even though it's summer. You know, it's a synergy. It's put out there as an image. All the young black kids, when they grow up, they want to be pimps. Even some of the girls want to be hoes. Now that sounds bad, don't it? But there's a whole lot of young black women who want to be out there.
The music's not helping.
But because of what the images are, because they always got plenty of money. They got power. And
We're done. Thank you, folks.
I am so sorry.
God bless America.
Because we got into it, and because of this nature of this, Tampa Bay, we love you. I'm sorry. Until next week at this same time, same place. Bye-bye.